We're live. What's up, everybody? I am so happy to be here today. Happy Thursday. This is a special edition of Real Talk Chronicles, the podcast that just keeps it real all the time. This is something that's really kind of dear to my heart because now we talk about the promotional, the nightlife entertainment, which you all know at one point I was 4-star entertainment, and Mike Eddie and I, we did our thing. But before me, there were some other gentlemen that ruled the city, the tri-state area, and even branched out and probably did more than other places. So we can't, you don't even want to pigeonhole the tri-state area, but that's where a lot of us were at that time, and that's what we did. So the beautiful thing about it is I have 3 gentlemen here. They're their own entities, but a lot of us know them collectively together, and that was a beautiful thing. So before I introduce them, I still have to do my public service announcements. The show is always honored by Sports Illusions Art Gallery, the Daily Arts Magazine. If you get this one, yours truly is in it. I am a martial artist. I've been doing it for over 30-some years. It's also sponsored by Melba's Soul Food Restaurant, and it's also sponsored by Chocolat and Urban Underground Wear, Leon Ellis. Without further ado, every Monday, we have Real Talk with Assemblyman Al Taylor. Every second Monday, we have Dr. Marilyn Corder in conversing about things in the health industry. The third Monday, we have Allison Williams coming back, the First Lady of Def Jam. She will be back. She'll tell her testimony on her health and how she's doing. And the fourth Monday of the month, we have Pastor Kevin Graves, and we do a little spiritual talk, Real Talk. Every Wednesday, we have Kevin Branzetti and Chuck Richards and Richard Williams, and we talk about issues pertaining to law enforcement, politics, and law and anything like that. But without saying all that, I have 3 dynamic gentlemen that I've watched, I've admired. I want to give them their flowers. I wanted to do this special segment, and I'll be doing more. But I call it Legends in Promotions. And for those that have partied, you know why we call it Legends in Promotion, because back then it was like 1,000 people. If you could put 1,000 people in a spot, you were the man or the woman. And these gentlemen were definitely these guys. So without further ado, I will introduce Melvin Francis, Sam Tuga, and Lincoln Sessons. And I'll start with Melvin from my right. Melvin, tell everybody tell everybody about Melvin Francis real quick as we go around.
Hey, hi guys. I'm coming from you guys live from Norfolk State University. Beautiful place right now. Lincoln, you won't believe you would not see Norfolk State in the light that you saw it 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. It's a whole new place. I'm over here for tonight because Hampton and Howard, Norfolk State playing Howard University for the championship over here. I'm getting a lot of people calling my yeah, but I started off in Virginia, and I moved to New York. I mean, I used to go to New York all the time when I was growing up, so I always knew about New York. I worked in New York when I was in high school and college. So when I moved to New York, I figured I looked around and I saw there wasn't a lot of places to go for people our age. So I just wanted to do something different because I was doing a little bit of something like that in Virginia before I moved to New York. And so we only had a few places to go to back then. I think Sweetwater's was one. And pretty much that was it. We would go there, and then everybody, it wasn't a great atmosphere to me. So I just wanted to do more. So then B. Smith's opened up, and Jezebel's opened up. And then what was the Alfred and Simpson's place down in the 20s, guys? What was that called?
2020.
2020. Yeah. So when all those places opened up, that's what got me wanting to do something else in the city. So I started off doing something then, and then Sam was right behind. I was pushing him. We really wasn't buddies back then. We just hung out in the same circles. So once I started doing something, Sam wanted to do it too.
Well, hold on. Before hold on, because I'm going to connect the dots, and I want you guys to connect the dots. So basically, you started in 19. What year you started promoting? No.
For me, it was 87.
Okay, hold that thought. 87. Now I'm going to bring Sam in. Sam, just tell people when did you start promoting and maybe your first vid, and then I'm going to go to Lincoln and get his history, and then we're going to open it up and let you guys converse about that stuff. Shout out to everybody that's watching Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my special Legends series. Melvin Francis, Sam Tuga, and Lincoln Sessons. Michael Van from the Shark Bar says hello. He's in the building. I would be remiss if I didn't give a rest in peace to our beloved Silk, a promoter that was definitely out there with us doing his thing. And his daughter, I think, is in the chat. What's up, Dana? Dana, my niece. So we had to definitely mention Silk. Shout out to everybody that's chiming in. Thomas Finlayson is in the building. Tommy, he says, real legends, where it all started. Definitely. Hey, Stefania. So everybody's chiming in. I see you, Richard Williams. So go ahead, Sam. Tell us where you started and how long have you been promoting?
Basically, me, the guys who influenced me to really get into it was 3 guys, Bob Bell, Bob Taylor, and Nathan Jones.
Okay.
When I came to this country around 77. There wasn't, much going on here. It was all clubs, disco, techs, and so forth.
Yes.
And I remember I went to one event at a place on 2nd Avenue and 59th Street called Magic. Somebody had an event over there that I went to, and it happened to be these 3 guys, Bob Taylor, Bob Bell, and Nathan Jones. They were the one who used to control the city. They were, that was like around 80, 84, 85, around that time. The same time, they used to have a place in Brooklyn called the Brown's Guest House. I don't know whether any of you remember that place.
Yes.
Brown's Guest House. You can go there like 6 o'clock in the morning and end up coming home like 12 o'clock afternoon.
Exactly.
And around the same time, that was the time that Studio 54, they had Studio 54. Yes. You can Studio 54, Steve Lobel, and all those people and so forth. So those are the guys really that influenced me, because I used to help them out. Passing out their flyers and so forth. When they print the flyers, I used to help them out, passing out the flyers,
Right.
So when I think they had a little issue, it was 3 of them, and they fall apart.
Okay.
So I decided, hey, let me jump in and try to do something. So my first event was on, I think 57th Street and 2nd Avenue. There's a building that they used to sell the Rolls Royce under there.
Okay.
That building. And on the top there, they have an indoor pool. So I decided, I didn't know anything about the promotion. I said I wanted to have a party. So I went down, rent that place, and had that party over there. And I only have about 20 people show up. And I said, no, this is not for me. So, I stopped. And then
so we're going to talk about what got you back into it, because I started off in the music industry trying to do parties. Shout out to Stan Dennis, Eminem Hot Chocolate. And it was such a flop. And I said, let me take it back to my essence, what I know, John and Jane Q Public. But we'll talk more about me at another time. I want to give it to you guys. Now, let me bring in my big brother, Lincoln Sessons. What's up, Lincoln? How are you, my brother?
I'm doing well.
So where did it all start for you?
Well, honestly, I was in college and I came home from school from West Virginia, and I was home and someone said that Gene Pendergrass, who
rest in peace to Gene Pendergrass, yes,
was giving a party on 125th Street at Charles Gallery. So I go in there, pay my money. I think it was $5 or something. I had never given a party. As a matter of fact, I was a pretty shy guy. I'm not really an outgoing type, So I go in there, and Gene Pendergrass is the man. He's the man. He's sitting back in a big chair. This is the same corny dude from high school. So I said, man, this looks good. So I gave my first party with my friend Steve Saxon.
Okay.
And we did a party on 30th Street. We thought we were doing it. We had about 41 people there, 41. Someone had a loft, and we had about 41 people. So but you couldn't tell we didn't do a good party. So that was like my first event. And
what year was that, Link?
Huh?
What year was that?
I don't know. I'm older now. I can't remember. I've been doing this for 45 years, about 44. Wasn't about 40 some years, right? We did this. But let me tell you this story though. So from there, I hooked up with two friends, Michael George and Jerry Morgan and Steve Sexton, and did a place, the same place. This time we did much better. We had 65 people, right? So from there we moved on to a place called Terra Nova. And you remember Terra Nova. And
that's where I met you at. Yeah.
And that's right. And I'm trying to give shout outs as I'm talking to Michael Baker and Ace, because we did that together. Okay, and it was packed every Saturday, and a lot of celebrities would come. And from there, we opened up our own place, and I think you remember this, Bill. It was called Afterwards.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. We did the Collibran.
All right.
And we were their promoters. We did the Collibran. Then we did the second floor. They moved upstairs. They had upstairs. We did the second floor. And then next thing you know, we just started doing more stuff at the Collibran, which was an interesting place. Okay, so we did that. About that time, I met Melvin, right? Because we would all hang at B. Smith's. That was the place to go. You go down B. Smith, you sit in the window, you cool out.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? But it was a good meeting place. So we all went there. And from there, we would go to the Shark Bar. From there, what was that place? Honeysuckle.
Remember those spots? The cellar, spots like that. Yep.
We'd come back down to Sweetwater. And we did that. So one thing led to another. And Mel and I started doing parties. And doing a lot of events together, pretty big events. And Sam was working with a guy, Russell Lattimore, who I hope would join us. Him and Russell did stuff to get big. Same level as us. We were identical, in terms of the kind of events. But at that time, Bill, what was interesting is no one went against each other like these young guys are doing now. Yes. Where they're having parties the same night, no respect.
We didn't do that. No.
We didn't do that. We made sure that, and we would check in with the Dow twins. Mel and I did parties with the Dow twins, right?
Yeah.
We would check in with them when you're doing your party, and we kept it moving. And from there, Melvin and Sam and myself started doing something called Last Fridays. And we had it going on until the Jodeci Group shot a gun in the place.
Listen, hold it right there. Listen, you guys definitely did it. And that's why when I thought about this, you guys are all different separate entities, all phenomenal promoters. I mean, but you all always been gentlemen, but you had New York on smash. You talked about the humility of being promoters, and like you said, your first event, which kind of nobody here exactly started off with like 1,000 people. So I'm going to open it up to you guys, and like Lincoln, Melvin, you can pick it up where Lincoln left off, where he met you. Okay. How was your first event, and how did you remember meeting Sam and Lincoln?
Okay, going back to me now, like I said, when I came up from Virginia, I was only in New York for a couple of years, so I started meeting people, hanging out and stuff. So I joined a group. I put together a group called the Spectre Group. It was 8 of us. So we were. So I told them what my ideas was, and they were like, "What? I don't know if that's going to work." I said, "Trust me, that's going to work." So what I wanted to do from day one, I wanted a jazz room, nothing but jazz. I wanted a comedy room, nothing but comedy, and I wanted a R&B room, nothing but dancing. Mm-hmm. Choose what you want to do all the time. So our first, and you also had to get a bad place. So our first place to do a party together as a Spectre Group was at the Soft Street Seaport at Flutie's. And our first event, we had 800 people. 800 people showed up at our first event. 800 people. So it was on. It was on from that point on. But when you dealing with eight people, you get a lot of attitude, you get a lot of this. Some people did more than others. So we never lost money. We did about a good 7 parties, and all the parties made big money. We made some serious money during these events. So I wanted to shout out to all my ex-partners, Jeff Davis, Tom Overton, Frank Stanley, Elaine Edwards, Lynette Taylor, 2 friends of ours that no longer here, Gary Griffin and Desi Burke. So that was my partners when we first got started out.
Wow.
So
shout out to all the ones here and there. You got people chiming in from YouTube. I want to make sure I pronounce the name right. Averill McCormick. And I think we also have a Martha Hunter. We got to give a shout out to my man Tony Herbert in the building, Tony Toon, aka, since we want to talk promotional stuff. He says real legends in the building. What's up? So now, Sam, when do you remember meeting Melvin?
Before I even get there, Lincoln mentioned say something about the last Fridays.
Yes.
Last Friday parties. There's one memory I always have up to now. The place that we had it called 500 Club.
Okay.
Lincoln, you remember that place, right? 500 Club. So that was on Fifth Avenue, I think 500 Fifth Avenue or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we had that party over there. And I remember this guy came in called what's his name? Andre Harrell.
Andre Harrell.
Andre Harrell.
He was my student.
With Puff Daddy.
Yep.
That time, he came in with that guy. I was at the door, and those last Friday parties, you always have to wear a suit and tie.
Yes.
That's right.
We won't let you in if you don't have a jacket. We won't let you in. So I remember Andre Harrell came in with Puff Daddy, and I was at the door, and I say, this guy, he doesn't have on a jacket. I'm not going to let him in. And Andre Harrell, he was with P. Diddy. I said, I'm not going to let him in. And then, I say, he call me, Africa, let him. and he went down. He said he wanted Lincoln. He went down and called Lincoln and came back. I said, no, I'm not going to let him in. And I didn't let him in. And that thing stayed up to me up to now.
Well, we know you're not getting any free tickets to the concert.
Yeah, he was telling me the guy just came, the guy came from school, from Washington, D.C., so that's why he just got in and pick him up or something, So I said, no, everybody have to have on the jacket.
And you know what's so funny, fellas? We can talk about the celebrities that may have came out and partied with us at that time. As you go on, I'm sure you guys will remember names just like Sam started. But what made you guys want to get into promoting? Like Melvin, I think you said the city, nothing was really happening at the time, right? And then I think Link, you said you were, you coming out of college. And for you guys, Lincoln and Melvin, if you want to, after this, you can share this to your Facebook page, and you can. It's on YouTube for people that are watching it on YouTube Live right now. But you can always go back and then share it and let people see, hear these iconic stories. But when I think about promoting, I remember starting off at Terra Nova, Link, like you said. Mm-hmm. I met a guy, shout out to the first guys that I started promoting with Posh Productions. I don't even know where these gentlemen are. I hope they're still alive. And they said, I had a flyer. It was like a free party. And I said, okay. So I used to dance. That's how I got into promoting. I invited all my dancers down, And everybody was coming to the Terra Nova on a Sunday, and the guys outside talking about saying hi. And they was like, yeah, okay, what's up, Bill? What's going on? Let's get it on. And the guy said, yo, how did you, why do you know all these people? Who are you? I said, I'm just a guy, that knows a lot of people. And I invited them. So he said, you invited them? He said, this is my party. I said, well, no offense. I said, I saw the flyer. It said house music, which a lot of us are house heads. We're not dancing like that anymore, but you know what I'm saying? We might move to the beat. And I said, okay. And he said, you ever thought about promoting? So that's how I segue into it. That was before I took some bumps. And then, Mike Eddie and I, shout out to Kenny Dinkins, who I did promotions with. And then when I went solo, and then Mike, Eddie, and I kind of hooked up, and that's how we started. But Melvin, you taught me, and I watched Lincoln, and I watched Sam. Because Sam, you were instrumental in a lot of things Mike and I did later on as getting spots, booking agents and stuff for us. But I watched Link and I watched you, Melvin, and of course, you too, Sam. You guys held a standard of excellence. Like you had to come, like Sam just alluded to, you had to have a blazer on or shoes or slacks. Tell me, all three of you, and I'll start with you, Link, and then Melvin and Sam again. Tell me what made you promote that kind of way. Go ahead, Link.
Well, we talked about it, and we wanted people to have respect for how they look. Okay, and if you respect the way you look and come in there dressed appropriately, then you can act appropriately.
Yes.
We went through some things, early on with different kind of people, and it's funny. Sam mentioned the Andre Harrell thing, and he bothered me about that for years. Andre, right, but we also, Sam and I think Melvin was downstairs handling business. Mm-hmm. We turned away Chris Rock and P. Diddy another time.
Yes.
At Reigns at when they came again, mm-hmm. and they were turned away again. And one of them said we could buy this place. We said, well, shit, give us the money. But,
absolutely.
So that was the second time. So we always had that standard. Men had to have a jacket on, because if you didn't have a jacket on, we wasn't letting you in. It was that simple. And we wanted people to feel good about being up, feel safe, know that it's a comfortable place. So and that was the reason. We discussed this a lot of times. And let me just say this to you, bro. I had a hard time keeping up with these two cats, because these two cats wore designer suits all the time. They were buying $150 neckties, and I was going to Sims get my necktie. So these guys are dresses, man. So you had to look, it was competition. When you came to those events, the guys were sharp. I mean, I still remember guys wearing bow ties way back then, right? And the women, I'm telling you, they would get one who was so exceptional that Melvin would sit them at the bar. So when people walked in, they would say, "Oh, let's come in here. Let's go in here." We had little tricks, And it was we had a standard. We did have that.
Yes, absolutely. I want to give some shout outs. Ramona Hook is in the building. Ken Smalls is in the building. Shout out, Ken. And I got to give a shout out to our boy, Mark Stewart. Congratulations on your promotion, Mark, and on all the best in your new endeavor. I won't mention it unless you want me to, but congratulations, Mark Stewart, who's partied with us for a long time. Martha Hunter also said Lincoln System still holds the standard for the mature crowd. Excellent all the way. And I know Melvin Francis still has events from time to time, and those are also top-notch events. Absolutely. These gentlemen are definitely A1 a lot of times. So, Mel, what like you said, Lincoln also said you guys had, you conversed about the dress code. What was your take from the dress code aspect?
Well, I think it came down to one important thing to me, is that when people dress for success, they act appropriately. We didn't need security at our parties. If we had security, it was a nephew, a cousin, a friend. I mean, we could have 1,000, 2,000 people at a party, and we had like 3 security. We didn't need it. People didn't come to have, they came to have a good time. They didn't come to mess up anything with somebody else. One other quick rock story, another quick Chris Rock story. When we had the what was that, the club on but the professionals had it. Chris Rock came to the door, and he had on some jeans, holy jeans. My sister-in-law worked the door. She didn't want to let him in. What was the name of that club? The club with Bob Tate them did. What was the name of that club? We did Thursday nights there.
Where it was downtown or up midtown? Up Midtown.
Midtown professional club. That was like, you were members only, black members only. What was the name of the club, Sam? Lincoln.
101 Park Avenue.
No. That was all black people ran this club. Black professional people ran this club.
On 43rd Street.
Bob Tate
It was on 40
43rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The New Yorker.
What was it, Lincoln?
The New
Oh,
Yorker.
the New Yorker. The
New
New
Yorker.
Yorker Club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
So,
And you guys definitely
so
had
that was
women in there, man. You guys definitely had the classy women. You know, I'm not going to use this term buppy, but if you establish that kind of black professional, you know, even if white people came to your party, it was just a professional mentality, and you know, it was the place you wanted to be all the time. Trust me, when I started, I was telling Melvin. I remember starting in the game. Sometimes I had Daryl Hicks and we were talking, like sometimes we had to wait, and hopefully you guys would see us and let us in. You know what I mean? Because we hadn't reached the pinnacle of success that you did at that time, and we was just so happy that you would honor us and let us in. Sam, talk about the dress code. What was in your mindset along with these other gentlemen about the dress code? And wait, let me just read something. Colin Clark, shout out to my buddy Colin Clark. He said, I remember brothers who were home all day, but would show up at B. Smith's at 5:30 wearing a suit, carrying a profile the New York Times and Wall Street Journal. You were absolutely right about that, man. Straight front. Dress for success. That's it. Tell a girl a whole dream. You know, we don't even talk about the dreams. And there should probably be some kids out there named after you guys. I know you a lot of uncles, so a lot of people out here, you know. Definitely, I think she says AFKLOL. Definitely, I agree with the dress code. Shout out to the people that's watching from YouTube. Shout out to the people that's watching from Facebook. Mike Malibu in the building, used to play for 98.7 Kiss FM. I see you, Tracy, in the building. Shout out to everybody that's chiming in. I got this is the segment, a special segment. I have legends in promotions. And, you know, like I said, I wanted to give these gentlemen their flowers because a lot of times this is a lost art that a lot of people didn't respect. You know, I knew I always had, you know, full transparency. Like I said, real talk. Relationships came so hard. Not that I couldn't get them, but just like they a lot of women sometimes that I met and dated, they felt like this was a game. You know what I'm saying? Like it really wasn't a real business. But I've always told everybody, even when I've gotten awards for promoting, I tell people, if you treat it like a party, you'll have fun. If you treat it like a business, you'll get paid. And I treated it like a business. So, I mean,
Can I tune in for a second?
Go ahead.
I couldn't agree with you. I could not agree with you even more because that's how I looked at it. I think Lincoln looked at it that way. I know Sam looked at it that way. It was all about business. You can tell. I have my partners, my best buddies, that you know we hang out all the time. But during a party night, they don't mess with me. They don't come talk to me because I'm all about business. You know, I got to do my thing. I said, this is done for you guys to have fun. This is not about me having fun. This is all about business. So I'm handling that business. So I didn't care about that, you know, having a good time. I was there to make sure you had a good time. Absolutely. So I definitely took it.
Listen, I didn't hold on, Sam. I didn't date anybody that sold tickets for me. I didn't want to mess up this. This is business. I may have dated your girlfriend or your cousin, but I ain't date you because I did not want you to mess up my money. If you was good for 50, 60 tickets, listen, no, we can just be friends. Go ahead, Sam. Come on in.
As you were talking about this ticket issue, we'll get back to that. But let me say this about the dress code. The reason why we have the dress code was a lot of the places that we have the parties, they won't allow the blacks, most of the blacks to go there.
Right.
A place like the Boathouse,
yes,
East River Yacht Club,
Bridgewaters,
101, Bridgewaters, and so forth. This most of those places are first time that they allow a black person to have a party over there. Mm-hmm. So when we going there, we have to project something that not all of us are like what they think. Because when you go there and you ask them, you wanted to do something, event or something, they always, at the back of their mind, you're always thinking, oh, black people, they coming to mess up the place or whatever it is, So when we go, and they see the kind of people that we bring over there, next time when we wanted to come back there, they allow us. That's why we always make sure that every place that we go, we come out with, that kind of, we portray the image of, nice people. I mean,
of excellence, yes, a certain standard and quality.
Yeah.
And I have to, and like I said, I'm going to keep giving you guys your flowers while you're alive and you're here on tonight, especially since it's my podcast and I can do that. You guys taught me the game. I watched. I really, and I want to thank you for helping me be a better promoter, an event planner. Because Melvin, I will say this to you. I'll let you tell the story, but you taught me how to get events. And if you want to divulge that, how you guys got events, I'm more than welcome. And I watch. You guys made sure. Most of the time, I can see Link at basketball games or things in sports or whatever. I can see you guys, but you dress for the occasion. If it was a picnic, boom, you had on sneakers or shorts. If it was an event, you guys had hard bottoms and slacks, and that was the code right there, and a blazer. But
you talk about a ticket. The other day I was just talking to Mel, telling Melvin about this. New York State Attorney General Letitia James.
Yes, tell that story. I
remember one time we had a party at the Broadhouse, and normally when you give people tickets to sell, they always wait. They won't sell it. They wait till the day of the party. They'll come and stand outside to sell it. So I always go back and forth to check and see who is selling ticket outside or not. Right. I remember one time I went outside and I saw her standing there, and I asked her, "Why are you out here?" So I'm waiting for my girlfriend, and I know her girlfriend is selling ticket for me. So in my mind, I was thinking maybe the girlfriend gave her a ticket to come and sell it. So he said, "I'm waiting for my girlfriend." So I went in, came back, saw her again standing there. I said, "What happened to your girlfriend?" He said, "She's not here yet." So just to say this, the kind of people that used to come to the parties, former governor of New York, David Patterson, and his brother, all of them used to pass through. So, these are kind of people that we used to have.
Can I say something, Bill?
Yeah. Absolutely, please.
Yeah, one of the places that this is another story about the door, because it was business with us. It was serious business. I don't think I ever remember seeing Sam or Melvin dance, and they never saw me dance, I'm sure. Right? I've never seen them dance at one of our events. And I do that to my events I do now. To this day, I don't dance. I'm just there to make it work. But we had a place called the Madison.
Yes.
Madison?
Yes.
So Sam's at the front door, right? And Vaughn Harper, God bless him, he helped us because our first part.
Hold on. Link froze up, everybody. This is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster. This is one of my special segment, Legends and Promotions. I have Sam Tuga, Lingen Sessons, and Melvin Francis. This show is sponsored by Melva's. This is sponsored by Leon Chocolat, Harlem Underground, Deadly Art Survival, and Soft Illusions Art Gallery. I'm sorry, Lincoln, you're back with us. Go ahead, please continue.
Okay. So it's a place. Do you remember the place, Bill? It was called the Madison. It was a huge $20 million brownstone. Somehow Sam and Melvin find these places. And I don't know how, right? But there's a Madison, had about 5 stories. All our events, you had a comedy show, you had a jazz priest, a show in another room, you have salsa in another room. We had always had it like that. I remember Keith Sweat coming. Do you remember, Mel? Keith Sweat all the time. Yep. All the money he was making, he was still waiting to get it free, right? But he would come all the time. But we had the Madison, and Vaughn Harper shows up with the BLS short shots. Not 3 of them, the whole 15-man roster. And they came to the door, and they had the wrong one at the door because Sam was like, "Y'all got to pay to come in here," right? And they said, "Well, call Lincoln." I came outside, I said, "Yo, you guys are not the Knicks. Y'all ain't the Knicks, And they didn't talk to us for about 6-7 months, if I remember right. They wouldn't even speak to us. But you get people like that, and it was business. It wasn't personal. And our good friends, they knew to come and pay or make arrangements in advance. If someone didn't have any money or they was doing bad, we would let them in free. Right. But you know, you have to they have to let us know in advance.
Let me just shout out. Go ahead, go Mel, please go ahead.
No, you go ahead and shout out. Do your shout out first.
No, well, I just wanted to read something Tony Herbert put in, and I see you, Cliff Hollingsworth. Shout out to Big Clifton Hollingsworth in the building, everybody. Tony Herbert said, best of friends, Jimmy Best, Dow Twins, Reggie Wells, Harold Maynard, Gene Pendergrass, Herman M., Jerry Roebuck, Sparkle Entertainment, Black and Gold, 4-Star. Listen, we all did the thing, fellas. Elena Morales, I see you in the building. Colin said, who remembers the most popular husband and wife couple who hung out at B. Smith's and got married there? We all know who they are. I know. Do you guys remember?
Joe and Eve.
Yep. A success story, right? Exactly.
Oh, yeah. So many of our friends that met at our parties or even at B. Smith and got married from our events. So we did something right back in the day. But getting back to what you were saying earlier, Bill, that I passed on to you earlier, is that the thing when I went looking for a place to give an event, I always looked for a place that nobody ever been in. I wanted me and Lincoln, or before Lincoln with me and the Spectre Group, that we found a place that no one has ever been in before. And that's what Sam did too. He passed that on. I didn't pass that on to Sam, but Sam went that route too. So in a negotiation with these places, you know, I never took no for an answer. So I would go in this place that never did a party, and they never even did a party with black folks before. Fluties, the South Street Seaport, the Vista Hotel.
Wow.
I don't think too many people did something on Windows on the World. Any of these places that we went to, Hemsley Palace, all of these places that we went to, we never took no for an answer. I said, not only that, we never had to pay money to do places to these places.
Yes.
These are $1 million spots that we were going there. I said, listen, I knew we're gonna have the people. I said, well, I give you a $10,000 bar guarantee or $8,000 bar guarantee. All depends on how big the place are. I know we get the place from 9 to 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. If we can't do $10,000 or $8,000 in bar money, then we ain't doing our job with the people that we invite. So not only that, we would guarantee that money, so we didn't have to pay for the place. And then we'll go out and get sponsors to take care of the DJs or whatever. So we always try to do that. We got the vendors. We first did the vendors in big events. They also have to take care of playing for the jazz band or the comedians. So we always had a plan to go out the party to be self-paid for, and everything that came to the door was pure profit. So that's what I look forward to doing. Never taking no.
I'm gonna let you chime in. I just want to read something, because like I said, this is about giving you guys your flowers, and I'm gonna make sure you get them all. Martha Hunter said these legends paved the way for many other promoters. They absolutely. Kenny said Mel, Sam, and Lincoln, the best to ever do it. Absolutely. I can sit here and say that. Avery, I hope I'm pronouncing her name or his name right.
Avril.
Okay, thank you. You all did so much right. All the parties were classy, great music, great dancing, and all were dressed to impress. Absolutely. I couldn't have said it any clearer and better than you did. So go ahead, Lincoln. I'm sorry.
Let me give you an example of what Sam, Melvin, and I did. We was doing a place called the Millennium. We've done all kinds of places. And also I want to just say a shout out to all those promoters you mentioned, because they all are close to us. All right. So, we were going to mention them anyway down the line. So glad Tony did that. But we did a place called the Millennium Hotel. Luxury. Every place we did was luxury. Probably the worst place we ever did was the 500 Club. And it was a rich club. You went to Yale, you would sit there smoking a pipe. It was old architecture. But everywhere we did was fly. And we wouldn't do an event if it wasn't a great place. So we did this place, the Millennium. We didn't make the bar guarantee. I don't know if Melvin and Sam remembers this. Right?
No, you got the wrong place. It wasn't a Millennium. Millennium was a nice place. That was the hotel. You talking about the place that was on the west side. It wasn't a Millennium.
Let me finish this, and maybe I am right. Well, because I remember this. Because Ann Tripp was helping us out, Winnie and Maple at the door. And what happened is we were short on the bar guarantee. So we huddled and said, look, we could pay this bar guarantee, or we could give everybody in here free drinks for the rest of the night as a thank you for coming to this event. Mm-hmm. So we gave everybody free drinks the rest of the night because we wasn't going to make the bar. And we wasn't going to just give them money and they could keep their liquor. Other times we took the liquor home with us. Do you remember that? Yeah, we took the liquor home. But I'm just saying for the guys who are listening now, who got those big bar guarantees, that sometimes if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you $5,000 short of your bar, you might as well give that liquor away because you got to pay for it anyway.
Yeah. Listen, you guys.
But also,
go ahead, please.
Also, if you're doing a bar guarantee, you make sure you check that bar guarantee. You check that bar from the beginning of the day. You take that number from the tickets or that registered number, and you check it. You make sure you act like that club is your club. So you better check it all night long. That's why I can handle it.
Every hour we checked it. Every hour we checked the bar from the time we walked in.
Yes,
we see.
I would have spots at that bar.
Listen, I stay right by that bar. Drink, and I check that bar like you said, and I wasn't giving out a lot of drinks. Maybe 1 or 2, maybe somebody I wanted to see a little later on that night. But listen, after that, it wasn't. No, listen, we're not gonna do a whole lot of buying drinks for people. No, because the thing was to get there. And
I mean, they used to give you a ticket. The bar would give you like 20 tickets so that you can give some to your friends and so
forth. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Go ahead, Mel.
We had a few places that got a little upset with us from time to time because they saw that we were making more money than they were, so they didn't like that. But hey, that's the negotiation part. But Lincoln can tell you about this. One night, me and Lincoln gave a party at Flutie, South Street Seaport. Okay. I don't know where in the world these people came from, but it was over 5,000 people showed up down at Flutie. And we couldn't get them in. So that was like a couple of $100,000 was left out there that we couldn't do nothing about. We couldn't do anything about. So what did me and Lincoln do the next time? We rented the whole South Street Seaport. We didn't just do Fluties. We rented the whole South Street Seaport. We didn't do the 5,000. We did about 30-something hundred, but we took that chance. We didn't lose money. We made a deal with all the restaurants there, so everybody came in. They was part of our party. We had the whole thing blocked up. We had the back window overlooking the Hudson right there. We took over the whole South Street Seaport.
Listen, let me ask you guys a question. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster. This is my segment, Legends in Promotion. Sam Tuga, Lincoln Sessons, and Melvin Francis. I wanted, like I said, this is all about them, giving them their flowers. They're just due. They deserve it. They are the legends in the game. And I am glad to be, protege of these gentlemen. Let me ask you a question. Tell me about, I hear how some of you, Sam would go out and check the door. Lincoln, like you said, you never saw Melvin and Lincoln and Sam dance. Lincoln, tell me who was the pit bull, who was the socialite, like who was the
Sam was the pit bull. Sam was the pit bull. Melvin was the socialite, and I was the generalist.
Okay, got you. Now, is that just personalities? It's just
all three doing business. So.
Go ahead, Lincoln. Elaborate on that, please. Go ahead, man.
No, because like I said, Mel is a charmer, yes. But he's a businessman. Yes. See, and people don't understand the promotion game, and that's why I like supporting like Black and Gold Productions with Darryl and Mike. They used to come to our parties. All these promoters you see now that's doing events, they used to come to our parties. Right?
Absolutely. I was one of them. Yes.
But we know that you got to walk around and make sure your customers are feeling good about the bit. So we would find maybe the most unattractive women and say, hey, is everything okay? I mean, we want everyone to feel good, right? And Mel and Sam would do that. They would walk around and do that. And so did I. We made sure people were comfortable because we wanted them to come back again and again and again. And they did. They supported us, and we gave them a lot for what they were paying.
Yes. Sam?
So I had to say this before you get to Sam. One time, we weren't enemies, but me and Lincoln and Sam and Russell, We were out there to see who could get the best events during that time before we jumped
against each other.
So wait a minute, you guys had a friendly competition against each other at one point?
Oh yeah, I told you I got Sam so hyped. That's why he really got back into the party business because he didn't want to be left out. So Sam went out and found Russell Lattimore, and that's when they started doing it.
And Russell's the king of queens. Russell could get more than man. Right? So here's what the groups. It was me and Melvin. Then it was Sam and Russell. Then it was Roland and Al Williamson.
Yes.
Right, Roland and Al Williamson. Right? And then the younger guys were behind. Then you always had the Dow twins in there. You had Al Florin. You had Jimmy Holloway.
Right? Yes.
They were doing great. Jimmy did awesome events, and he would pick the most expensive place in the world to give something.
Yes.
He did awesome events. So it was good, but we all respect each other. And we never, ever gave a party the same day that Sam and Russell gave a party. Never. And they didn't do it to us either. And neither did Roland and Al, you know. So
I tell you why we didn't really do that, because we can recruit. We can go there and get people to come to our event. So they did the same thing to get people from our event to come to their event. So it was all about getting.
We worked hard. I mean, people understand. I mean, you know, I would come home from work, take a nap on a Wednesday, wake up about 8 or 9 o'clock, go downtown on the train. I don't even know if I had a car then. Go downtown on the train, give out flyers, come back home, get in bed, get up, and go to work. You know, we consider ourselves event planners, but this is business. This is not just fun and games, you know. It's fun and games for the people that attend. Okay, but of course we had to make sure they were okay, they were safe, and you know, and that they had a good time.
I mean, we were all over the place. In everywhere there's an event, even Connecticut, Jackie Robinson Jazz Festival. We go there. Everywhere that there's a great event, we'll be there promoting. You know?
First Fridays in New Jersey. First Fridays in New Jersey.
Oh, that's where we stole the last Friday thing was from them in New Jersey. Let me tell Melvin and Sam, these nice businessmen take me out to the Jackie Robinson, and we snuck in.
Oh my God.
We snuck in, and I'm like, wow. But you know, we did Sam, Melvin, and myself, we did the New York City Jazz Festival at Downing Stadium, Randall's Island. We had like John Lucien, a whole bunch of people, you know.
Angela Bofield.
Yeah, we are.
Wow.
We've done some
Noah Pointer.
Before he died.
Yeah.
We had 7 good acts. We had 7 good acts. 7 good acts all day. And that's another thing. Negotiation, because the city was not behind us. They told us if they had to turn the lights on after 5 o'clock, we had to pay like $12,000.
Yes.
I said, well, if you want to do that and you want to have that on your conscience and somebody get hurt, you turn the lights off, please do. Right. So the lights didn't go out. I mean, they didn't want us to do it. They did not want us to do it. That's when David Dinkins was the mayor of New York at the time. Right. So we thought that the city would have got behind us, because right after us got the Capitol Jazz Festival took off.
Yes.
The New York City Jazz Festival should have been the place that everybody should be wanting to come to.
We gave up. Right. We gave up, and we should have kept it going. You know, but I personally learned from that in terms of the staging and stuff, which is in my business I do now a lot. You know, so I learned from our experience there. I learned a lot.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
We did some great things from that event. We had some great. I mean, we had MCI come in and let everybody there call anybody in the world. A phone call there. Yep, we had that, and I mean, it was a big take on. But we also had CD 101.9. It was a radio station.
The DJ, she was very nice.
Press Prescott was the host. She hosted it.
Yeah, she was very nice. Yeah. And Ann Tripp hooked up all kind of stuff.
Right, and Ann Tripp was as well. Ann Tripp was one of the group.
Nice.
Yeah. And we had a fantastic crew that worked with us.
Yeah.
To help us. We couldn't have did it without the sisters,
Making more money on walking.
people, and what's the young lady that lived up in Connecticut? Judy LaVille.
Oh, Judy, yeah, very nice, Judy. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah, Judy. She brought in all these trips that we gave away. You know, people trips to Caribbeans and stuff like that. So we had a great crew. We had a great crew that worked with us on that.
We've done some great things.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys are reminiscing. It brings a smile to my face to listen to you go back and think about who was instrumental in helping, you know, because behind each and every one of us, we had either good tickets sellers or somebody that worked our door countless times, or people that watched our backs, or, you know, you guys know this thing. Yo, okay, listen, I need you to watch that. Or like you said, you guys didn't need security. You guys had a lot of law enforcement and people in there. You had a lot of professionals that came to your events, and you guys have done an excellent job. And I know, Lincoln, you're still doing it. I think Mel or Sam, you guys are still doing sporadic things. Lincoln, I think you're more than those two, but I don't know. We could talk about that later. Thomas Lason said it's a time for a reunion event. Absolutely, that's what I do. I bring these guys together. Hopefully, they may just think it spark a fire. Because the bottom line is, you have your own crowds. See, this new generation is totally different in promoting. No disrespect. I'm blessed to say hi to some, but I relate to this era, our era. Shout out to DJ Ace in the building. Shout out to Bam Bam. He said, yeah, Bam Bam had heavy numbers too, and definitely Bam Bam definitely. You know, when you start doing things, and Bam Bam had a lot of law enforcement crowd too. But you guys had industry music. Sam, you all right over there?
Past his bedtime.
Sam, we didn't lose you, man. You're down, right? Sam will come back.
He has to get his bottle of milk right now.
There he is. There he is.
Did you warm the milk, Sam?
And you know what's so funny? It's just a beautiful thing that we're still here. I know we've lost with life. You lose friends. I tell people all the time, popularity sometimes can be a curse, because you know, Melvin, you and I have talked about this. You know, you lose some friends and due to COVID or just age and just whatever has happened to things like that. So just shout out to everybody that has supported these gentlemen in their endeavors and still support them, which is an excellent thing that they still do. Ken Small said, he said, people who attended their events created lifelong relationships. Absolutely. I think the last two times I saw Mel was one at your house, Ken, and then the other thing is the Capitol Jazz Festival. So yeah, so you know, you're right. I think I see Lincoln in and out of events, maybe Black and Gold or something. Yep. And Sam, I haven't seen. I think the last time I saw Sam, I was driving up 110 Central Park West. I saw Sam walking down, still being Sam, walking. The wind blowing his jacket like he had John Shaft on him. You know what I'm saying? but let me ask you a question. What was the last event that you guys did together? Does anybody know?
Oh, wow. Think about that one.
Well, take your time. Real Talk Chronicles, yeah.
You know, one of the things, Bill, is we didn't do events if we couldn't find nice places. So if the place wasn't nice, we wasn't gonna bring folks to a dump.
Absolutely.
And we started running out of places. When I was with these two guys, we started running out of places to give stuff. I mean, it was hard to find a nice place. So
Lincoln, let me ask you a question. I think Mel talked about negotiating, but who was you guys were just open, either one of you or whomever found a spot, and then y'all would bring it back to the other one and say, yo, listen, this place got ambiance or stuff like that. And how did that go? And then who would negotiate it? Go ahead.
Well, I think that Melvin and Sam did more negotiating than me. All right. My role was to get the flyers done and stuff like that. You know, we had different tasks. But I can negotiate too. I negotiate big contracts now.
Absolutely. I know you do. Yeah.
Right. But my point is that but I learned a lot from them in terms of going in and asking for certain things and not settling. Okay. And I got that from them because they were good at that. going there. I mean, like right now, these guys, I hear people paying $100,000 bar guarantee.
That's crazy.
$50,000 bar guarantee on doing a boat ride on Coca-Cola. I don't even know the name of the boat, right? Of course,
you know, it's a boat, exactly.
All right, as a boat, and we would negotiate, man, and like I said, we watched that bar every hour, if not every half hour, but they did most of that negotiating.
Right. Sam, between you and Mel, which ones? Who initiated, or were you a closer and Melvin was a closer, or did you call Melvin and say, "Oh, listen, I got the spot. Let's go in there together and tag team them," or you went by yourself and then you brought the guys in? How'd it go, Sam?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, basically, I always go and find the place. I always come out with the places, because a lot of times, I always tell them, when you go, even though you're going to have 1,000 people, you don't tell them you're going to have 1,000. You tell them you're going to have 400. I have a way of, dealing with them. So I always find out, come out with the places, and then I'll tell the boy.
He came out with some of the places. He didn't come up with all the places. Okay. He had some good places down there. He definitely had the Boathouse. That was his baby.
Yes.
Boathouse was Sam's baby.
Because he got us in there. He got Mike and I in there. So exactly.
Yeah. He had Park 101. That was his other baby.
That was one of the greatest events that everyone looked forward to, was the Broadhouse Cafe.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
But if you saw it built in the daytime, it's not beautiful. But they added tents. Yeah. And one year, Mel, myself, and Sam did it for New Year's Eve. And we had about 20 tents going one way, all attached. 20 the other way. We have heat pumped into the tents. And we had limousines outside Central Park on Fifth Avenue, bringing the people into the park. I think we had 12 limos. And they would walk up to the park, because you couldn't drive into the park. They would get in one of the limos. The limo would bring them there, go back, get a new batch. It was a rotating thing. And we had about 15 to 2,000, about 2,000 people at that event.
Yeah. That was one of the best parties we've ever had, because that night it was Lauryn Hills, Wycliffe, Tyson Bradford, who was so many of them. So many of the stars were there that I couldn't even count. I remember they called me and say, who was at the door? Somebody was at the door. I forget the person. Was it Wycliffe or somebody? So they should, bring him through the back. I said, no way. You have to come through the front. Yeah.
Well, Mary J. Blige was there too.
Yeah. Everybody was. And that night, trust me, I don't know what happened to the money though. We were charging about $150 a pop or something. So many people. By the end of the night, we didn't see no money. I mean, I didn't know what happened to the money. At the back of my mind, I always say, where did the money go? Because we're talking about $150 per person, and we had about 2,000 people there. And it was kind of strange, up to now. And I end up even having a fight with the owners of the Boathouse. I had a big fight with them.
We also at that same event, we have to give a shout out to brand new David Shepard and Larry Thornton, because they worked with us on that project a little bit. That great event. I saw David Shepard at my last event. And he didn't remember that he had done that event with us.
Shout out to Dave Shepard. He has an event coming up. Shout out to Debbie Jackson too. Dave Shepard has his 70th birthday party coming up. Dave is a good brother. That's my guy, my dojo brother too. So what's so funny, fellas? It is, I'm sure, great going down memory lane. My man Raul, he's a comedian. He said we need to do a reunion party before it's imperative to be in a wheelchair accessible. He's such a smart ass.
We'll take that money too.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll right up. You know what I'm saying, Lane? Listen, roll right up. So, I mean, that might be something that you guys may think about. Hopefully, maybe this thing together this podcast will maybe spark something, to find something. You know, but so funny, Link, until Melvin comes back and Sam, you guys were doing astronomical numbers. Like I've always said, the success of a great promoter at that time was 1,000 people. Like Mike and I, we did spots, Madison Hotel, Mars 2112, UN building. We did things, and we always had like over 1,000, between 1,000, 1,500. But you guys did 2,000, 3,000. Like you would get spots, like, oh my God, like it wasn't even like you guys were the only people in town, but you guys seemed like it. Talk about that, Lincoln.
Hey, well, Sam, I like Sam to talk about, because Sam, how did we get Rains? Because we used to have the line on Madison Avenue outside of Rains, down to the corner. Down, what's after Madison? I don't live in New York anymore. What's that? 3rd Avenue?
Where Rains?
Park, yeah. The line was around the corner.
And the Madison is on 32nd and between 5th and Madison.
Yeah, and I remember I was outside while they were online apologizing to people. Hey, I'm sorry you have to wait so long, but we'll get you in. I'm sorry. We had to make them feel good. But Sam found Rains. He called me and Melvin on the phone, right? And he found it, and it was fabulous. The place was fabulous. And we had a connection at Fuller Morris that would give us all these giveaways. And we would give, and when you walked in, we gave you a gift.
Let me tell you something. And you guys can talk about this until, like I said, Mel comes back. You guys gave jazz. I think I gave you a little pinch of comedy. And, of course, the R&B, the DJ. And then you also had sponsorships. Because I will say, and I took this from you guys, all three of you, each time I may converse with one of you and pick your brain a little bit, you used to get sponsorships. Like Melvin mentioned earlier, like you said, you had Philip Morris. It might have been cigarettes at the time. Well, you didn't care. I back then, now we don't want nobody to smoke any cigarettes and get cancer. But back then, we give you some cigarettes, a little small, little variety pack.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like
talk
Frisbees.
about talk about Frisbees, like you said, Link. Talk about like getting the sponsorships along, like you said, Melvin. You said that earlier. He's like, your sponsorships pay for this, and your sponsors, you guys, and then come out your pockets for shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's true, but the sponsorships we were getting weren't like white organizations are getting. I'm not trying to make it a racial thing.
No,
we can't get in the door, right? Because give me an example. Melvin, Sam, myself, we've done huge events, and we've never had that big sponsor say, "Here's 100,000, make it real good." We've never had that. Like even with my events now, I'm doing thousands of people. I can't get a sponsor. We can't. I have a great partner, Maurice Watts, right? And you know Maurice, Bill, right?
Yes.
Right. And we talked to him, and I talked about it today. We just can't get that sponsor, but we make it work.
Yes.
The same way Sam, Melvin, and I made it work back then. And because we made it work, because the sponsors were the people that came to the event. We treated them like they were the sponsors, because they helped make it happen.
Right. Listen, Mel, you want to piggyback? You and Sam want to piggyback on sponsorships and things of that magnitude, and what made you guys do jazz and comedy and stuff like that? You had a full lineup,
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln would say, if we're gonna do this, just trying to find a way we can get some extra money to pay for that. I mean, we had a lot of times we had some beer companies who come in, we had wine come in, and when we did the easy event that we had to do to get sponsors for, I mean, it was like sold out even before we sold a ticket. We put the Winners of the World. we had sold that place out before we sold one ticket, and we had all kinds of sponsors that came in and help us promote that event. Even Ebony Essence Magazine, they was a sponsor for that event. So and then we had a cognac company come in and sponsor that event. And Lincoln and I did a big event at the Vista Hotel, and we had a fashion show in there. And then I went down there and talked to Van. What's his name? What was his name? Lee? Van Tonovich or something?
Who's that?
The furrer. Van Tonovich.
Oh,
the big guy.
right.
He gave us a free fur coat.
Yeah.
we gave away a free fur coat that night. So we
that
went
was
down
the-
and talked
that
to
was
him.
the fur company at the time, Antonovich or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
We got.
So we talked about
hold on, Mel. I'll be remiss if I don't give a shout out to my big brother, Bob Tate is in the building. What's up, Bob Tate? Everybody,
Hey, Bob.
Bob Tate is watching. You know what I'm saying? Shout
Bob,
out to
my
Darren.
mentor. That's my mentor.
Bob was
That's my mentor right there.
That's my big brother.
He was a role model.
Uncle Bob, you're a gem. You're you know, when this pandemic stuff is over, I know it's stifling down a little bit. We definitely got to get together and have a partake, you and myself and the uncle. And Pandora, hello, and thank you for what you do. I appreciate you. So everybody, yeah, so guys, continue. I apologize because you guys, like I said, everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles, the podcast that keeps it real. I have Melvin Francis, Lincoln Sesson, and Sam Tuga. This is my segment, Legends in Promotion and Nightlife Entertainment, Tri-State, all over the world. These guys are phenomenal people. I appreciate them. I appreciate their friendship, their mentorship, and I just wanted to give them their flowers. You know, nobody mentions us anymore. It's all right. You know, we still know how to do this stuff, but talk about the state of promoting now, because let me just ask you guys a question. Each promoter has that window of success, like that athlete, they said, you know, you're in your prime. How long did you guys run? Because, you know, like I can say, I started maybe in 89, but I didn't really, Mike and I really didn't pop off until maybe 94. And I had a good run to maybe 2004 or 5, whatever, where, you know, the numbers were great. But then after that, you know, I got mad at myself because I didn't buy something. You understand what I'm saying? Like the Dow twins, I think they had some kind of stake, if they didn't, in Manhattan proper. But the thing is, you guys, I'm surprised you guys didn't really buy something together, because you, Melvin, you like you and Sam, like you said, you guys found spots, and Lincoln, he played his position. He came and closed the deal with it. But talk about the state of what happens while we don't own anything, and shout out to Michael Van, like he said, he was in the building and stuff like that. Bob Tate said, "Love you guys. We love you too, Bob." So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I can say choices come and choices go. What I mean by that is, you know, you have an opportunity to do something at a particular moment. I mean, Lincoln was very savvy. Lincoln always invested his money into stuff. So Lincoln did what he had to do. Sam as well. But I mean, you take your chances. I mean, I had opportunities at my peak in time. I had so many people coming at me, wanted me to represent them, even in the modeling industry, or actors. There's some well-known actors right here today. I could kick myself in my butt. People came to me. They wanted me to represent them. I wasn't doing that. That wasn't me. But looking back now, I would have did it. I would have put my foot in that arena and went after it. Yeah. Because it's not that hard to do. It's really not that hard to do. So it's several actors right now. I'm not even gonna mention their name. They're right on TV right now all the time in the movies who wanted me to be their manager. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Go
ahead, Sam.
Young, we were young those days that we were making so much money that, you know, we didn't think it was going to end. So you
right.
That
was
money,
the other thing.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you were spending that money buying those, you know, $1,000 suits and nice cars and whatever. You know, because you know that the next party you're gonna make about $20,000. You know, so hey, I mean, what is 2,000, 3,000? So we were just spending the money. You know, you can't say it goes.
Like you said, we were businessmen with a. I'll use this terminology, like a drug dealer mentality. We're gonna do a party. We knew we was gonna get it back. Like, so what can I buy this? I can put this down on something. Absolutely.
Let me tell you something, Bill. Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Before we all hooked up, I owned a place along with Michael George and Jerry Morgan on 58th Street across from Bloomingdale. It was called Afterwards. And Mel came by, I think, afterwards. And it was the top floor of a dentist owned it. Had an outdoor patio, indoor. It was beautiful. But what the owner place is hard. Making sure you got the grapefruit juice, the orange juice, the liquor supplies, right? You gotta have protection. So what turned us off is the mob tried to muscle us. I got some stories for you. Right? I think, did I tell you guys this story? I might tell you the story, right? They came up one day.
Heard this one.
Huh?
I haven't heard this one. Go ahead.
Okay, the mob came to muscle us. They said the previous owner owed them $100,000, and about 6 of them. And one was the owner of the Carnegie Deli. I didn't know he was down like that, right? One of the owners, right? So they came in, and we came to the door, and we stood up to them. I put my hand in my jacket like this, put in my jacket, but I was really holding my heart, you know, right? And they left, but we had this attorney on retainer. His name was Jeffrey Hoffman, and you might have heard his name. He was with a big time attorney to the mob, and we had him on retainer. And he went to one of the top mobsters, Carmine Galante or somebody, and got them to leave us alone. But I never wanted to open the club after that. I was like, that was enough. At least
wow, that's a great story. But Sam, Bill, Sam had a couple of hair salons and places like that. He invested in some stuff. So how long did you have those?
Yeah, I did about 10 years. And I opened a hair salon on Fifth Avenue on 45th Street. And I had everybody coming through there from Faith Evans to Lila because I had some of the best, black hair stylists,
Yes.
And I had it almost about, the top, because I can say one of the reason why I even, I gave it up was when Tyra Banks launched her one show called Who Want to Be the American Top Model or something.
Yes.
She came and took my top stylist, Kia, to work, to be a personal stylist. And that girl used to bring all the stars. She was the money-making engine for the for the shop.
For the show.
So as soon as Tyra took her away, then we decided to sell it because when it's there, you walking every day and that place is packed.
Wow. And that was so funny. I'm glad you said what you said because DJ Ace, he said, what did you guys, I think you kind of, a few of you just spoke on it, but DJ Ace said, what did you guys do with your profits? Did you save, invest? What big ticket items did you buy? And I think a lot of times as promoters, like you said, we talked about, we knew we was going to get it again, but eventually I'm under the great impression that everybody is doing fine. I don't know about COVID and stuff like that. I just hope everybody, you and your families are just doing well. But you all guys look healthy. I've spoken to all three of you periodically. And, but I think a lot of times certain promoters have taken their money and not done anything with it. Maybe not even bought a new car. You know what I'm saying? So if there's things that you have done with your money, if you feel like divulging or, invested or not, or what would you suggest to the new promoters? They're not making, listen, the new promoters are not making the money we're making, but can you guys ever think, imagine if we had social media to promote, because you remember all the endless nights we stood outside and passed out a flyer. Oh my God, man. Go ahead.
And then what took place after the flyers was the email address. You had to get everybody's email address. No, not email address, their address.
Yes,
how many nights did we set up and do stickers and flyers and put on poster cards and send out?
That's right.
Right. Yeah, so this would be a lot easier.
Yeah, it would be. But Bill, I think that the three of us, and I'm sure Russell too, down in as well as all the promoters we know, Jimmy Holloway, Dow Twins, The Bachelors, Harold Stansel, Black and Gold. I don't know one of them is not doing decent, doing well. Okay, so I don't think anyone jerked their money off. we had different wants. Some people wanted houses, some wanted cars, some wanted to buy fancy dogs. I don't know, but whatever makes you happy.
Exactly.
Whatever makes you happy. But so
right.
we, we didn't jerk money off. I don't. None of us jerk money. I mean, Sam in Melbourne would buy $1,000 suits, and I was going to Sims, getting it for $129.
Well, let me tell you something. You should have been a model for Sims because you look nice in your suits, my brother. All you guys.
I don't wear them that much anymore. You know what's so funny? I'm sorry, I'm not gonna dominate this.
No, go ahead, brother. It's your show.
He's a great promoter. He's a great promoter in New York, and I respect what he's doing. But my boys are the ones I mentioned. I know them more. But his name is K Mel. Very respectful, very nice. He said to me, Sam and Melvin will get a kick out of this. Because he never knew I did parties. He thought I was just some guy. So he said that I do concerts only. So he said to me, Lincoln, I want you to come to my party. Then he said, well, do me a favor. Can you wear a nice suit or something? He said, could you wear a nice suit? Sam, I said, I was part of a group that wore nothing but suits. But honestly, that was funny.
Yeah.
Yo, let me tell you,
I would like to.
We got to give a shout out. Hold on, Mel. We got to give a shout out to K Mel because he's doing his thing. I mean, and K Mel was coming out of Brooklyn. But you know what's so funny? And that's the problem with a lot of promoters of today. They don't know you guys. Even like, and I say that because they just had in the All-Star game, they had 75-year anniversary of the Diamond Version. And we need to find a way for the new guys trying to be somebody in this game that really think they somebody and then really not. They're really not. I mean, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful to any promoter out here. I mean, and Link, you said it well. The promoters that we dealt with and we know, they're still doing it and they're still able to, as the young people say, eat. But the bottom line is there are certain promoters that still think they're doing it. I mean, I've seen guys now, they'll do a bar and they'll charge you to come in. And I'd be like, I was like, oh, okay, thanks. And I've always told anybody, I don't go to anybody's party unless I'm invited. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't stand on any lines.
I'm still like that today. I'm like that in Virginia. I'm like that right now.
Exactly. I don't do that. That's against my religion. It's not good for my skin. It breaks me out, to even feel ordinary when it comes to some shit like that, Let me just shout out to Mona. Mona said, don't forget Mona and Jacqueline's Elmont house party and reunion, 24 years. But we made no money. We just entertained. Okay.
They gave great parties. That party didn't start at 12 o'clock at night. They went all the way into the morning. And they would have live entertainment outside. So Mona, y'all guys, y'all did excellent events. And I like to take this time too and say thank all the promoters as well. I might not remember everybody's name. Like I said, I came to New York late on the game, so I didn't know a lot of people when I first moved in. I didn't know Lincoln when I met Lincoln. I didn't know Sam when I met Sam. So I came late and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. So everything worked out for me, and I was truly blessed, and I think we all were blessed to do what we have done and still be here to talk about it, Yeah. So
and one thing,
I just want to give props to everybody.
One thing I have to say is when we started, I can honestly say we are the one who started renting different places to do an event, because when we came, everything was disco, clubs. But we are the one that start renting like restaurants, event places to do those parties and so forth. So that's how we changed the game. Because before, everything was at the club. People go to the club and do parties at the clubs and whatever. But we came in and started renting different places, restaurants, hotels, different places, and do those kind of parties. So we are the one that started, doing those type of events,
Like Tony Herbert said, ballrooms. Like you guys, Ramona Hook said, God bless all the promoters. Absolutely. And what's so funny? The evolution of our title is now event planners. But like I said, that's why I kind of labeled it like legends in the nightlife, because promoters to some people looked at that as like a derogatory term. I mean, me being a former law enforcement officer, I always told people I'm not a cop, I'm a police officer. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes with a negative overtone. You take a promoter, right, Link? You know what I'm saying? Like,
but Phil, but made all, I just thought since it made all events good. We didn't give parties.
No.
We never gave parties. We gave events.
Facts.
We gave events. And when people do one big room where people just dancing all night long, that's a party. We did events.
Yes.
It was a difference.
Yes. Yes. You guys, let me tell you something. You guys are legends. I appreciate you all. I think you should have standard to what excellence was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think about like the music, you know, Motown. Like, if I'm around some young people and they hear me listen to Motown and stuff like that, listen, that's what it was, man. Like, I love the way Motown was. People dressed up. I'm gonna let you promote that, Link. I'm gonna let you promote that, exactly. And that was just a form of excellence. You know, you guys definitely gave events. You really did. And you know, Link, you still do events. We have 10 minutes left. And we, you know, but I want you guys to just talk about what you're doing now. What would you like to do? I mean, in a perfect world, I hope I'm going to see you guys eventually somewhere, somehow. I would love, and probably you guys and only you guys could do that kind of reunion. I mean, of course I would help if you asked me to, but only you three guys would bring a reunion of magnitude that you would touch a certain age group that only your age group you would want to be. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because we've all matured and I'm going to say seasoned, because we're still here and we're still blessed and we're able to walk and breathe. But the bottom line is, it would be great for all of us to find something to see each other. So, matter of fact, we got 9 minutes left. Tony Herbert said, I want to invest. Lena said, Link gave great events. Oh, Lamouche. Tony said, Lamouche, Manhattan Sitter. Stefani said, yo, so loving these stories. Yes, this is all about great events. And like I said, I wanted to give these guys, these gentlemen, my mentors, their flowers, their blessings. I will be doing another segment, and the next one I have coming up is Sparkle Entertainment. Dennis Williams. I will be doing him on the 24th of March. And then I'm trying to get Roland. I'm trying to get Al. I'm trying to get Jimmy. I'm trying to get, you know, even the younger generation that came behind me, Final Four. You know, I want the Dow twins. I'm trying to give my flowers to my friends. You guys deserve it. You need it. You know, Russell Lattimore, I got to get him on the show. You know, so please, we're going to all connect the dots. You guys, this is Real Talk Chronicles. You guys are always welcome back to come back and converse about any topics that I may address. Mona Jake says, yo, love you all. So Lincoln,
yes,
tell us what you're doing now in about 2 or 3 minutes. And then I'm going to go to Sam and Melvin. And then I just want you guys to close out with some positive affirmation and how people can find you and reach you and whatever you're doing. If anything I can do. Okay, Tony, I'll hit you up. Go ahead.
This is going to be real quick. I want to give a shout out to Harold Stansu and the Bachelors, because they were the last people I did anything with.
The Bachelors in Blue. The Bachelors in Blue.
I want to give a shout out to them. But I'll transition into doing more getaways and music shows and stuff like that, and booking and giving shows. So yes. I've done a lot of shows over the years. What happened is, the last time I did a party and I had to go outside, and I remember me, Sam, and Melvin used to do this, go and see if the people were coming. Do y'all remember that? See where you know, like, so, you know, yeah, and I told these young promoters that this promoting party thing doesn't last forever. You got to have something else. You got to turn it into an event. So I do classic getaways. I just finished doing Peebo Bryson, the Stylistics, the Manhattans, older groups, you know, a bunch of groups. 2 days of music at Kalahari Resort. My next show is this one here. You probably can't see it. Stephanie Mills, After 7, Regina Bell, Evelyn Champagne King, Keith Washington, the Stylistics, the Delphonics, Honeycomb, Black Ivory, Force MDs, First Choice, the Blue Notes, the Intruders, and Allure. Now, that's over 5 days, and there's people from all over the country to come to this thing. I've been trying to get these guys to come for years. They don't come, man. They ain't got to pay, and they don't come, right? But it's a nice event, and it's over 5 days, October 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th at Kalahari. So and I'm doing more stuff than that, but that's the one I'm concentrating with my partner, Maurice Watts. And
shout out to the voice,
yeah. So we do this, and we got a whole good team of people, including some of the people on listening up right now probably, work with us. They don't work for us. They work with us because we can afford to hire someone with benefits. Okay. Yes. So that's what I'm doing. That's my next project right now.
Well, I'm going to even say something that I don't do, but I do for very few. And as a mentor in this business, I would love to do that. If you want to put your flyer on my wall on Facebook, social media, tag me in it. So anybody that from my era that wants to come to and likes that venue, they may do it, because a lot of times we don't give back to each other, you know, and we don't know how to help each other. I mean, that's a whole nother topic we can talk about. But the bottom line is, I want you to succeed. I want you to continue doing it. And if you get 10 people from me, or 5 or 1 person, then I served my purpose. So I appreciate that, Lincoln, if you want to do that. You know?
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Sam, what are you doing? What's going on with you?
Basically, I spend a lot of my time back home in Africa, you know, because right now I manage a couple of properties that I have. And so I spend most of the time back home in Ghana. Okay. And I spend a little time here, and I always have to come here because my wife and my little kids are here. So I'm here a couple, like 3-4 months a year, and I'm gone back. You know, I really can't deal with this cold weather too much no more. So I always try to come and, you know, spend a little time. Then, you know, I'm back home in Africa, but I'm here. You know, a couple of months.
Good. Yeah. What about you, Mel? What do you got going on? What are you doing right now in your life?
Well, right now I'm just, you know, I'm doing a mentor to a lot of kids. So I have a couple of clubs that I do in schools, the gentleman clubs, and I'm into robotics. So I'm a competitor. So I put a lot of teams, a group of kids against other middle school kids, and I've won a couple of city-wide championships and coming up with the best plan. So I'm doing that, and my biggest project I want to work on is putting together a football classic. Guys, Lincoln, I'm probably gonna reach out to you for this one. But I also want you to come on down here and do one of the events down here. I have a nice venue down here in Virginia.
We're gonna do that this year.
Huh?
We're gonna do it this year.
Okay, we can do that. And Bill, you come on down and see if you want to get involved as well.
Absolutely. Right? Vera Foster, I always love the last name. I always tease her, Vera with the wonderful last name, Foster. She says he needs to do a trip for us to get to see Africa. Is that something you might think about, Sam?
Well, a lot of people. I was back home and for the year of return. That was, I think, 3 years ago, before the COVID. There was a lot of people from here that came home to Ghana to celebrate. But I think the 300 years of the slave trade or something. So everybody was there. Everybody was there. You know, and it was really nice. You know.
Let me read this. Go ahead. Hold on, Mel. Elizabeth Miller, excuse me. She said it's extremely important to know that you've made a difference no matter what your investment profession. Receiving your flowers, props while you're alive. Kudos to you, Bill, as well as your guest speakers. Thank you. Let me ask you guys a question. When's the last time you guys have seen each other besides doing this right now? When's the last time you've seen each other live, the three of you?
Well, I think I seen Sam last because whenever I come to New York, I do something. So no, I did something around my birthday party, always on a rooftop somewhere in New York.
Absolutely.
And I was right before COVID hit. So
next time you come here, I better be invited.
Okay.
Yeah. Sam, Lincoln, Mel, when's the last time you guys have seen each other?
The last time I saw Melvin was at Jimmy Holloway's when Jimmy was giving him an award. Wow. At his big event, Black Tie event. Yes. And I saw Melvin. I haven't seen Sam in maybe 25 years.
Wow.
Like, let me see. Wow. 20 years?
Really? That long?
Yeah.
Well, you know what's so funny then? Let me ask this question. And then first let me say this. Then I'm glad I got you guys together so you can see each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like I felt like I brought back the Temptations or the Four Tops or some iconic group. And before we get out of here, I'll ask you guys, how did you enjoy being a part of the Real Talk Chronicles podcast? And I'll start with you, Sam, Melvin, and Lincoln. Go ahead, Sam.
Well, I have a great time, because like you say, Lincoln I haven't seen for a long time. And Melvin, the last time I saw him, 3-4 years ago. So it was good, guys, and for us to get back together and have this little chat. So it's been good, yeah, and I'm glad.
Mel?
First and foremost, I would like to thank all of my friends that tune in tonight. So a lot of them told me they were, and I'm still close with I got a close knit of about 300 friends. So whenever I come to New York, I can say in 2 days, and don't tell them where it's going to be to that day of. Say I'll be there, and I tell them that day of they'll show up. Absolutely. And I respect them for that, and that's nothing but love. So I appreciate that love, and I appreciate Sam, Lincoln. I appreciate you. I mean, we are brothers. I mean, we fought sometimes too. we had our differences. We had our differences, but at the end of the day, we all had the same goal. And I thank you guys, and I'm blessed that you guys are still here because life ain't promised to any of us. Right. And that goes for you as well. So I thank you for putting it on. And thank you for getting us together where we can be able to talk. And I enjoyed it. It seemed like we just started. And we've been up here a couple of hours already. I done missed the whole basketball game that I was going to.
but you got to see your lifelong partners and your friends, and that, I think that's important. But I know you're gonna go out there. You meet them at the bar. Know what I'm saying? You go to the bar. So, Link, what's your thoughts, brother?
Well, I just want to thank you, Bill, for doing this. I think it's good that the younger promoters can understand our history too. Right. That when they see us out, they don't think we just some old guy hanging at the bar. Right. But I will say this to you: this is kind of a very sentimental, emotional reunion because we haven't seen each other for so long. Yes. And we went through so much years ago making these events happen. Mm-hmm. So it's a little emotional because we did our thing. And when we were young men. We were like 31 years old, 26. We were young, and making.
And I was 18.
Huh? 15.
And I was 18.
We were businessmen. We were businessmen at a young age, making things happen, learning. And what we learned in this game, we've used for other endeavors. So Bill, I thank you, and I thank all the people that listened. I watched this on YouTube and on Facebook Live. It's been a true pleasure, and I hope we didn't leave out any of the promoters that came before us. Because
me too.
Well, the beautiful thing is, fellas, we'll blame it on the memory, not the heart. And the bottom line is because if we sat here and we tried to give shout outs to everybody that has touched our path, we would never end. And the thing is, this is, like I said, this is something that I wanted to give you guys, and I wanted to start it off with you guys because you guys were very instrumental in my career in being a successful event planner. And I've never said it before. I thank you. I thank you, and I thank you. And I'm so glad to have that legendary night status. You know what I'm saying? I never want to give that to myself, but I have no problems giving it to you guys. And I'm so happy that I was able, and you respected me enough and trusted me enough to be a part of my podcast. You know what I'm saying? Because it's you know, a lot of times we don't support each other, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I just want to thank you. I bow to all three of you. I hope we can do it again. You're always welcome to come back to Real Talk Chronicles. Everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to Real Talk Chronicles. I have so much to give, and I have so much to offer, and I'm trying to do the best that I can in my life. Fellas, positive affirmation. Positive affirmation. Everybody leaves Real Talk Chronicles with a positive affirmation. Sam, Lincoln, Melvin, give somebody in a minute something positive that they could take with them that you would want to say to them, and we're out of here.
I would just like to say, everyone give back to the youth today, because they need it. You know,
Right.
give whatever you learn, whatever you think they need, show them the way, and it'll come back to you twofold. That's my take.
I would say to those young people now coming, doing these parties and promotion, save your money. And when you get the money, don't misuse it. Invest it, put it away, because down the road, you're going to need it. That's what I think.
Lincoln?
I would just say to people, don't be scared to dream. Don't be scared to dream about your future and go after your dreams, okay? And don't give up, because you never know when it's going to happen. It can happen at 74. It can happen at 64, 34. Don't give up on your dreams and stay positive. And my last thing is, I learned this from this president I used to work for at Mega Evers College. He was here all the time. If in your, I think he said, if in your mind you can conceive it, and in your heart you believe it, you can surely achieve it.
Absolutely. Everybody, this is
Way
Real
to go,
Talk.
DJ.
Go ahead, Mel, please.
No, I was just telling, go ahead on, DJ. That was great.
Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster. It's a podcast that keeps it real all the time. If you like it, subscribe to it so you can get all the shows that I'm doing. If you're on social media, Facebook, you can go to link in Melvin's page. Once they share it from my page to their page, you can see this the rerun of this, and it's on YouTube for Sam. You can just get it and go get it and share it. This is Real Talk Chronicles, everybody. Good night. This is a special edition promotion, Legends in the Promotion Game, event planning. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.